Welcome back to the Leshiy channel. I've got something new I'll be shooting from my friends over at Airgun Sport, the Steyr Pro X. It's quiet, and how do I describe this? Because I can't say this word. It's a we'll just call it a semi-pew-pew. It's balls out accurate, an incredibly simple Austrian quality airgun from a company with over 100 years of gun manufacturing under its belt. In short, I'm in love. In today's video, I'm going to introduce you to this amazing bullpup while handing out some dirt naps via normal, ammo-saving, precision shots you'd expect out of something with the name Steyr on it. Like this shot right here. Oof. That's what we call in the business, like turning off the light switch. I don't mean this as a flex, but I'll get to my point here in a second. So I've shot quite a few air guns in my day, including all of what I'll put on the tier 1 list. So with that context, I can say the trigger on the Steyr is without question the greatest trigger I have ever shot. And the fact that it's on a semi-pew-pew bullpup, God, that is so lame, I have to say that. Thanks, YouTube, but you guys know what I mean. A bullpup that does semi stuff. And the fact that this is on one of those just further blows my mind, because bullpups traditionally have the worst triggers ever. My only concern, though, ahead of receiving it was that it's in 22. So I've become accustomed to shooting larger calibers for the bigger bullies. But this turned out to be more of a me problem versus what a 22 is capable of. And confirmation came with this big old bully under its belt. The backyard bullies have really started to come out of late. In the early days of this channel, I'd wait all night for these guys to come in. But these days, I typically don't make it past midnight. I'm getting old, guys. So these two made the mistake of coming in early, before my bedtime. So the Steyr Pro X got its chance to take its first bully. At full power, the Steyr Pro X is about 30 foot-pounds, which is right at the minimum I like to take raccoons, given their really thick skulls. What's great about this gun, though, is it shoots both pellets and bullets. So the bullet packs almost all of that 30 foot-pounds on the target versus the pellet. But more importantly, its expansion happens inside of the animal, not at the point of impact of a pellet. I was a little worried about that head shake, but the 17.5 grain bullet from NSA is crazy accurate, and it did the job. I will say, though, this one made it about 15 yards away, just sort of off camera, a little bit to the left, and then it just dropped. And in retrospect, I think an earshot is definitely a better choice for a point of aim than between the eyes, like I typically do with a bigger caliber, for the smaller caliber 22 at least. So either way, this fat bastard went brown eye, well, sorted down in this humane first shot out of the Steyr Pro X on a backyard bully. Let's talk about this trigger for a second. So it's a 2-stage trigger, and the first is smooth, but it's heavy compared to kind of first stages of other triggers I've pulled. But it butts up against a firm wall, and then it's just a super light and clean break. You can adjust this if you want, but it's like 8 ounces out of the box. So while sending a single round downrange is amazing, the magic in this trigger is that the gun cycles and is ready for the next shot without completely resetting through that first stage. So you only have to do that once. Then it's game on. Triple taps, quads, even mag dumps are totally possible. So let's check out a few of those. So this is the first squirrel that came down after the Steyr Pro X arrived, as you can tell, because these aren't tracer rounds yet. So I was just trying to double tap, and then this third came out. So the trigger reset is so fast, and that break is so light, that these first few are really where I started to realize just how insane this trigger is. This first chipmunk is another good illustration of just how fast the reset is in this trigger. Watch as I get 2 on target. Right? Boom. Now, obviously, this guy is in deep REM sleep already, but I couldn't believe how quick that trigger was, so I thought I'd try a couple more double taps for good measure. This is a bit of foreshadowing for the mag dump coming up here in a few minutes, but as far as this guy goes, maybe one more. Yeah, I think it's done. the Steyr arrived right at the peak of the squirrel rut in my yard. I mean, there's got to be a minimum of 10 at any given moment. Well, now there's 9. Compliments of that double tap. For double taps, obviously the trigger plays a key role, but another challenge is keeping the gun on target. So the integrated bipod plays a huge role in that on this gun. Airgun Sport has an option to include this, and I highly recommend it. What I love about it is that it stows up and back, so it's totally out of your way if you're walking around or shooting offhand. It can then come back down and extend, and will even pitch forward and in reverse at like 45-degree angles, making it an incredibly flexible to your shooting situation. The combination of all these high-quality parts is what makes this pull pup stand out from the rest. It's truly an out-of-the-box, no tinkering, balls-out accurate masterpiece. This magged up on day 1 with the gun gave me the confidence of accomplishing a highly requested mag dump on a critter, and that opportunity presented itself with this chipmunk. Alright, let's slow this down. What I like to do is take this first shot and then make any adjustments for the follow-up. So you'll hear that slight pause after the first one, and then I open it up. Now, is this necessary? Of course not. But I promise you, if you pick one of these things up, you will 100% be finding yourself doing very unnecessary mag dumps as well. Boom, one last one to the dome, and then a quick retrieval, as this one might scare away his buddies. In my testing so far, I've been moving between the Hades, the 18 grainers from the EDgun version, and the 17.5 grain NSA bullet in 217. The 217s from NSA are pretty tight getting into the mag, and the 216s will stay in there. They won't fall all the way through, but if you turn the mag like up in your pocket or something, a few of them are probably going to fall out, so that's not good. They do have a 2165 that's coming, and those will be perfect. So, like I said, you got tons of different options there. They're all shooting in the 800 to 900 feet per second range. And with that amount of speed, the gun unsuppressed is definitely not backyard friendly. So I tested a bunch of silencers, and the one that was the best so far for me was the Sigma M4 from Eagle Vision. It's really small and light, so that's great, and it looks cool too. So the gun just isn't pest control kind of backyard friendly with this suppressor on it. It's an all-day shooter. You can mag dump all day long. So I've put over 3,000 rounds through this so far in just a couple of weeks, and I've had 0 issues or comments from my neighbors. I don't shoot 22 a ton, so I was definitely curious what the energy dumps would produce in this caliber. So here's a single shot with the Hades. Let's watch that one again in slow-mo. Yep, that is gonna work. And for educational purposes, here's what a 22 will do out of the Steyr Pro X. Yeah, that's humane. So I'm trying to figure out the optimal multi-tap number. So here's a few triples and a quad. I think there's a double in here as I work through that learning curve. So as the barrel dirtied up, I'd say after about 400 rounds or so, the 18 grainers started to open up a bit. The Hades and the NSAs were not as impacted by the dirty barrels, so that's cool. But one thing I did notice is just with the 18 grainers. So on this last one here, it was actually the last two that I had in the magazine, and it was a little bit off. And I knew the way that it jumped, that it wasn't a great shot. So I grabbed the Leshiy 2, which happened to just be right there, and it was fully loaded, and I walked out and I sent one into the breadbasket. Alright, so today has been a pretty busy day. There's a house sparrow back there too. Yep. Little fall cleanup here. Leaves are starting to come down, but there we go. That guy had a pellet push on me a little bit, so had to heart punch him, but was able to get out here pretty quick, so he didn't suffer too bad. I'll throw a link in the description if you want to check out this gun over at Airgun Sport. And if you stuck around this long, I know you can keep a secret. So I'm actually going to be giving this exact gun away as part of the next t-shirt drop giveaway. So stay tuned a little later this month for the official announcement. Thanks for watching the EDgun Leshiy channel. Want more backyard hunting videos? Grab your favorite beverage and get yourself caught up. There's hundreds just like the one you just watched. Here's a couple favorites to get you started.